Look, we look like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
The youngest one in curls. Yeah, Jeff's all looking. Everybody look diagonal. Alice. Welcome, guys. This is Star Wars from a certain point of view with Carlos and Chris. This week we have special guests. We have Ryan and J-Fed. We're all based in Colorado. We're going to be talking about the state of collecting toys in Colorado and what it means to be a collector in 2021. Stay tuned, guys. We're live. Join us.
Hey, everybody.
All righty, guys. Like I said, this is Star Wars from a certain point of view with Carlos and Chris. We host these shows every Thursday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. Please subscribe and turn on your notifications so you do not miss a single episode. This is a really fun part of the community. We're part of the community. And today, Chris, how you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great, man. I'm great.
I love that Stormtrooper helmet back there. That's fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. I like it too.
That's pretty cool. Today, guys, we have special guest Ryan and J-Fed. How you doing, Ryan? Jeff, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, we are all part of the Star Wars collecting community. We all collect toys. And so Ryan had some great questions that he wanted to bring up about the state of collecting in Colorado, because there's a lot of stuff. They run a different Facebook group that maybe, Jeff, you can tell us a little bit about here in a little bit. And Jeff posted a question, and boy, the whole message thread just blew up. It was just like, yay, 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 no, 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 yay, no, yay. It was crazy. So, Ryan, what is the question that you wanted to talk about, or what do you want to bring to everybody's attention of collecting toys in 2021?
So there's a couple of questions I guess I have, but really it's questions along with discussing trends that I've noticed. As Jeff kind of knows, where he sees, my collection and some of the stuff I sell, it's pretty eclectic. So there's a lot of groups that in different things I collect, not just Star Wars. And I also moderate quite a few groups as well of collectors for different genres. And so what I've just noticed over the last year and a half, a lot of trends merging, being similar, even if they're different manufacturers. So wanting to kind of talk through some of those trends, see if you guys have seen similar things, kind of pick your guys' brains on it, and kind of have some dialogue if we think this trend's going to continue, and if it's a good trend, if it's a bad trend. What would
be, not to interrupt you, what would be the trend that you speak of in one sentence? What is it?
So there's two ways of collecting. Like you have the the big box, like you're a big box retailer collector. So that means you get your stuff from the Targets, the Walmarts, the Walgreens. You maybe order from a big bad toy store every once in a while, or Entertainment Earth, stuff like that. So that's one realm of collecting. And then the other is the high end, whether that's custom pieces, Hot Toys, Gentle Giant, Prime Studios, XM, things like that. And the trends in both of those, from what I see, are actually quite different from what's going on. So, so for group one of big box collectors, it's just very action figure heavy and not in abundance. And for the one, it's become too focused.
Gotcha. Okay, Jeff, what do you want to add on to that before we dive into this?
Unfortunately, the trend I see is a lot of what people like to call scalping. It's I don't like it, and I think a lot of it has to do with because the amount of product is they're not meeting demand, or it could be also someone brought up that they're putting a lot of the blame on some of the brick and mortars, because they're having employees go out and buy up what is at the stores. They're making friends with the people that run those departments, and then they're being notified when the toys come in, and then so the casual collector's not able to go to the stores and pick those up. They're gone, and then you turn around and you see them at certain stores, and a $25 figure is now $50. So it's supply and demand, and then people taking advantage of the retail stores and when the toys are delivered.
Chris, got anything to add to that really quick?
This is so interesting because this is something we talked about on our podcast, right? We talked about this with Dom and Reese, and half the fun of collecting is kind of gone away, right? Because it used to be so fun to run to the store and flip through the cards, and you're looking for that one Darth Vader, and you just, and that was awesome. And even during the prequels, we were doing that. And it's just changed like that over the last 10 years. It's you can't do that anymore, can you?
Well, now here is the part of the show. A little backdrop on me. I'm Carlos. I've been collecting toys since I was a kid, and I got back into the modern collecting in 1991, fellas. 1991. Just celebrated my 30th anniversary. And I gotta say, starting from 1991, the toys that were available, especially like the Kenner Aliens and all that stuff, and then the modern Star Wars didn't come out to 95. And then there was, before the modern Star Wars action figures, the Action Master die-cast, the Toys R Us. And for me, from my chair, that's my other podcast, from my chair, it's always been like this. I don't know, you guys say the last 10 years, the last year, the last 5 years, the last month, the last 6 months. For me, it's always been that, because I remember before the internet, I would go to Target. I would go hunting with Mike Lorenzo. We would go hunt after we got off work together, because we were looking for the first 9 figures like Star Wars re-released in the modern era in 95. For whatever reason in Colorado, the 3PO and Leia were really tough to get. The 3PO was very tough to get. I don't know why. But anyway, even back in 95, which was 15, 16 years ago, we were hunting. And then if I couldn't find it, I would go to the brick and mortar stores that were either on Broadway or South Broadway, or they're off Colfax or wherever. And there they were. There was all 9 of them, all red cars. They were $12 to $15 a piece. I paid that because I had to have them right now. I had to have the whole set. I remember paying $15 a piece for these $4.95 figures. So for my chair, it's always been like that, because then what happened after that first 9, it was the next 4 came out. It was like the TIE Pilot, Luke Dagobah, Yoda, and like Lando or something. I forget. Boba Fett was in there. And the Boba Fett had the variant, and it was like the no circles. It was the circles. And then it was like the circle one was worth more. And the people were always, so for me, again, for my chair, it's the same. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. I've been dealing with this stuff as a collector for 30 years. Now, the only difference was when I turned my collecting into a business, it helps because now I can buy direct. Now I go right to Hasbro. I go right to Lego. I don't have to like hunt. I don't got to go to the shelves, because if you go to the shelves and like buy something for $5 and try to flip it for $10, that's fine as a side hustle. But if that's like your business plan, like it won't really sustain you. Like you can't do it. So I don't do that. And so for me, it's like,
I'm gonna have to disagree on that.
It's the same old complaints. Because what's to do? Because Jeff's phone's down.
Well, he gets to go.
The count.
I think what's different though is there is some level of what you described, Carlos, that's always been going on, but I think I see it as worse. Because I remember, I mean, I've collected as a kid, as a fan. Like I've always worked summer jobs. Like, I collected in the 90s. Yeah, like it'd be hard to find like 1 or 2 figures from a wave every once in a while, and you would have to overpay or trade a couple figures to the kid down the block who did find it. But the rest of the waves were usually pretty like in abundance. Like you knew like, okay, I know my target's going to have it. And it wasn't as much of a struggle to find it. And there was more quantities, I guess. Like I remember some mornings going on Saturday at the Target I worked at when I was 17, and we would get, 3 or 4 cases of the same figure line, like here's wave 5 of the new Star Wars thing. And there would be 5 or 6 cases. Like now a lot of the stores are like getting 1, if that. And it's again, but because people don't know if they're going to see it again in the store because it's so scarce, people end up buying up that whole case on one shot. And then the shelves are just super empty. Like I've never seen, you know, in the
Okay.
last couple of years, the shelves being as empty. At least that, you know, and I get maybe some of the big box retailers don't want to carry too much stock, or over purchase or over order from the
Now,
distributor, but it's definitely a lot more of a, you had hope when you went out. Like there was enough out there that you had hope, and if you tried, you know,
I
like
agree.
1 out of every 5 stores, you're going to find that one figure.
I wanted to hear what Jeff said before Jeff fell off his chair.
the table.
What do you got, Jeff?
Before I fell over. I just, like I said, I'm going to disagree. I've been collecting my whole life too, and yeah, back when the Power of the Force figures hit, you could walk in the store and find them. Yeah, there were certain ones that were harder to find, but you'd end up finding them. But this whole now you walk into a store and there's nothing there, and what part of the problem I see is that when I worked retail, you were not allowed to. It had to go out on the floor first before an employee could buy it. It had to go out onto the floor. The customer comes first, and then you can buy it once it hit the floor. Now what I'm seeing, and I've seen it with my own eyes, I watched a Target employee walk out the back of a Target with cases of figures. Again, they weren't even open. They were sealed. He bought them.
In the 90s.
I'm guessing.
I saw that.
Walked out the back and put them in his car.
Yeah, I saw that in the 90s. People would spiff. They were called spiffs, you know, because like when you were in sales, commission sales, you would, you know, Sony would give you what was called a spiff. We'll give you $5 for every tube TV sell of ours over JVC. So it's called a spiff. And I knew personally, you know, people that would spiff employees to, you know, when these come in, give me a call. And this was before texting and all that and pagers. And they would basically just leave it in the back. And then when you would go in there and say, hey, dude, did you have this? And they'd hook you up and then you'd hook them up. I didn't do it because, again, that wasn't my spiel. But again, I don't see there's anything today that wasn't going on in 1995.
I think it's just more magnified today is the thing. Because, I mean, yeah, like, so sure, the spiff thing and, you know, a retailer grabbing it. But but it was, I feel like maybe a little bit far and few in between then, because like you would have to know somebody. Like, and I'm talking like really before the internet and like the Facebook marketplaces and Mercari and, you know, even eBay and stuff like that. Like people didn't really have a lot of options to like get a spiff from or try to flip the figures for something else. But today it's made it so much easier with the internet. It's easier to see what things are going for. And that's, I think, what's really driving a lot of the, so it's being pulled on multiple ends. Like you have, and number one, which is the retailers or somebody, or even like somebody that just knows the routes, like they're buying up the whole case with no point of for collecting, but to flip it. And then you have the other end of the stores are getting like minimal product in. So and they are only typically getting like one case and that's it. Never again.
I'll bring up something Dominic just told me today on the phone, but let's read what Sarah said. Sarah says, remember, with reduced capacity in factories and workplaces and the shortage of truck drivers, shortages are happening in all areas, toys, food, and more. So does that play into it? But also, we can discuss that. I was talking to Dominic on the phone earlier today, and Dominic was saying that in some of the groups, I don't know which groups he was talking about, but he's saying like now people are like, hey, you know, they're being cool. They're like taking pictures and like, hey, there's a major blood on Target in Aurora. There's a blah, 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 blah. But Dominic said the problem that he was having was now people are buying the major bloods or they're buying the He-Mans to trade for the Star Wars stuff, or people are buying the Star Wars stuff to trade for the G.I. Joe. And Dominic's like, that's even more frustrating. And so I'm just like, thank God I'm out of that game because that just sounds like a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, I don't know about the scarcity. I don't think there's
a big part of.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeff.
That's a big part of the Colorado Collectors Group is that I encourage our members, which we just broke 800, which is amazing because we just had 700 a month ago. But I encourage our members to hey, if you're at the store and you know Chris is looking for this certain trooper, pick it up for him, and then you know charge him retail for it. You know, we're not going to mark up the price. But I noticed a lot of people are like, hey, here's that stormtrooper Chris was looking for. It's at this Target and so location. and then leaves it there. But they post a picture and they put the location. And then, I mean, it's good and bad because then Chris could be like, oh, I just saw that. I'm going to go over there and try to get it. But by the time he could get there, someone else could have went by that has no, they're not there to get it for their own collection. They're there to flip it. So it's a good and a bad thing to have. But it is frustrating because I ran into that problem too that Dominic brought up.
So, but here's the thing though, guys, like the anything that you can find at a Target or Walmart, and this is why I don't really buy too much into the scarcity or like the supply issues. Everything that goes into the big box retailer, or at least, or I shouldn't say 100%, but like 98% of the time, that stuff is readily available for pre-order on either like Hasbro Pulse. Mattel has their pre-order site.
Those pre-orders sell out in like seconds, man, like 60 seconds.
I don't know what's up with that with Hasbro Pulse, but you can then go like everything that's sold out on Hasbro Pulse, unless it was like a Pulse like store exclusive. The next day, like Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth has them, and you can pre-order them for about the same price. And I've pre-ordered from both of them before, and often I end up getting those figures well before the Targets and Walmarts end up, getting them and putting them out. So, but again, that's not as fun. Like to me, like sitting there and racking up pre-orders all day long and not getting anything in return.
I don't know. Me and Chris have racked up many a Hot Toy pre-order.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's not fun anymore. It's not fun. Ryan and I were talking about the fun part of collecting. And collecting's become a job, and it's not fun where you like the fun of the hunt when you found that Leia or you found that Darth Vader. And you're like, yes, I got it, and you were that excitement of finding something you've been searching for, and it's done.
Yeah,
me and Ryan have been talking about this for months.
So you could still collect.
It's just not fun anymore.
Let me read something from Lorenzo here really quick. Let me read this. Lorenzo Dai Young says, seems like more people join the hobby for multiple reasons. Flipping, pandemic boredom, so many movies and shows connected to collectibles, higher quality in sculpts, likeness, and favorite printing. So
absolutely the pandemic. Like I said, I moderate and admin Power Ranger groups, G.I. Joe groups, Star Wars, just general action, like all kinds of things. Magic the Gathering. I'm like really heavily into the Magic the Gathering game. And it like everything has exploded this last year. Way more like members have like tripled the activity.
And again, and I'll just I want to hear Chris say anything, but there isn't still even, I guess the only thing different in 2021 than it was in 95 was the pre-orders online and all that stuff, because this is before I didn't get on eBay till like 98 and all that stuff. But again, it's been the same thing because yes, you can go to the store. I remember going to Walmart and yes, we used to call those things peg warmers, fellas, where I remember when the first Grand Moff Tarkin came out in 95, it was 96, 97, the Power of the Force stuff. And it was the first Grand Moff Tarkin figure ever. And I was looking for that. And so I went to, I don't know, 500 Targets. And sure, every Target I went to had about 50 Star Wars green carded figures. They were all Ponda Babas, Hammerheads, Greedos, Han Endors. It's the same old peg warmers that are just like blah. Then I would have to sit there and pilfer through every one of those to look for one Grand Moff Tarkin. So again, from my chair, it's like the same thing. It's not like all of a sudden tomorrow the Commander Cody VC is hot. I can go there and find it. That's never happened for me.
But were you able to eventually get it? Like
when I paid $15 for it.
Well, that's what I was going to say is when you were pilfering through and you found the Tarkin, biggest rush, man. That was awesome. I'd be like, yeah. Oh, dude, I remember like, and then I'd find 3 of them in a row and I'd be freaking out and I'd have to, So I think the thing I was going to say is, Carlos, you were talking about
today.
Because you don't find them in the store anymore. At least I don't.
Right. So I don't, like, again, I don't buy off the toy shelves. I mean, every time I go to Target, which isn't very much because of the pandemic, but of course, every time I go to a retail store, I got to hit the toy section because you guys know.
You just do.
Section. Mm-hmm. So I'm not expecting to find anything. And if I find something cool, okay, I'll get something for somebody that I know is looking for it or whatnot. But it's not like, again, I don't know. Maybe you guys were luckier with me in the 90s than I was. because I had a hunt, and then I finally gave up and just paid double price just so I could have it because I was tired of hunting. And then once eBay came out, and this was before Amazon, then it was like I'm going to search for like a weekend, and then I'm going online and buy it. Like screw it. And then but again, I'm out of the modern collecting, so this is all new information for me. But again, there isn't anything that you guys are mentioning that I'm like, oh, that never happened.
So here's my first question for you guys then.
Yeah.
Why do you think more people are not pre-ordering products and waiting for them to hit the store? And then
is that a thing? Because I would think that people are ordering, according to Dominic, everyone's buying everything online.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, that's what we thought. So
no,
you're saying
I see people like, I constantly see posts in all these different collecting groups of, hey, I'm looking for this still. I'm looking for this. Like, can anybody hook me up? And it's like, hey, when this was announced, it was up for a solid 30 days on pre-order. It's not anymore because it's like 6 months later, but
you've told me that how many times, Ryan?
Exactly. Pre-order it, Jeff.
Yeah. I don't ever pre-order like those kind of things. Like 3 3/4 scale figures or the Black Series. I don't know. I don't like them enough to pre-order them because I just love the hunt, man.
Yep.
But I'm going to stop. But Carlos mentioned it earlier. Hot toys, you have to pre-order them or else you're not going to get one, period.
Exactly.
And so there are certain things like the General Giant busts. I mean, I don't collect them, but I've got a couple. But if I was into that, of course I'd be pre-ordering it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but for action figures, and I'm talking about the smaller ones, 6 inches and down.
Yeah,
it's just not the same to collect. I mean, sorry, to pre-order them because it's just not. Yeah, you can buy them at the store, but I don't know. It's just not. Maybe I'm just
find it in the wild. I rarely. I mean, it usually it'll have to be like a exclusive figure for me to pre-order it. That like, they might not have in the store or something like that. But yeah, I love to find it, and usually I'll end up hunting it and not keeping it. I'll end up selling it later that week or trading it to somebody else or doing something with it on small bottoms. But for me, it's more of the thrill of the hunt and like capturing it. And then I could kind of care less about the figure, honestly, like afterwards. Like it's kind of rare that I'll keep one of the ones I found.
Yeah.
Hot toys are guaranteed.
I don't know how many times I've walked into an aisle and I just say, why did I even bother? Why do I even bother?
Lorenzo, again, Da Young, hot toys are guaranteed to show up at your house. Money paid, goods delivered, awesome display piece. Again,
bingo.
Not an applause.
Yep,
collect
bingo.
Hot toys, gentlemen. We're not your dad. Let us be your uncle. Put all that modern money into a hot toy.
So with what we're talking
that
big box,
brings up another subject of collecting. It brings up another subject that he just brought up was that I wanted to touch on was statues, Gentle Giant, the sideshow, and the hot toys collecting side.
Hold on, Jeff. Jeff. Sorry, man. Let's keep it. Just so we're not jumping back and forth. I think let's keep like big box retail, and then because I have a whole spiel or just we're not flopping around too much. This is my suggestion.
No problem.
And really, it was just one more thing for the big, like, because I do want to get into some of the other stuff, but like with the last thing with the big box retailers that I've noticed is there's not variety like there used to be. Like, so like Marvel Legends, they just kind of ride that. Star Wars Black Series 6-inch, the vintage collection stuff, but you don't get like the figure line, like where's the figure line specifically for the movie or the ships or the accessories or the role play or the other thing. Like everything seems very, very streamlined down to like sort of a bread and butter figure line, and they're not really extending out past that anymore. I don't know if you guys have noticed the same thing or or if it's just me, but it's not the variety. Even if you didn't want the variety, they're almost playing it too safe, I guess, is how I feel.
That's interesting. I think and another thing is, and Carlos and I talk about this all the time on the live stream show, is the quality of those action figures are just going down. So if you think about, a few years ago, I mean, some of the quality of the of the 3 3/4 action figures were amazing, right? They were awesome. How many points of articulation, wrists, elbows, and now they've kind of downgraded now, and in like some of the ones are just like arms, shoulders, and neck move, and that's it. And I don't even have any interest in collecting those because they're just so boring. I like to open my toys, so I want to play with my toys.
Yep.
I don't know anything. Yeah, right.
Well, like, what do you guys think about, we didn't get a Rise of Skywalker like dedicated figure line where for every other movie up until that point we got one. We didn't get a Mandalorian.
We didn't get a Solo one. We didn't get a Last Jedi one.
No, we did get Last Jedi and Solo. Yeah, we got
in color. In color, it didn't say Solo. It didn't say the Last Jedi.
Yes, it did.
It did.
I thought so.
It said Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and then it had like a Han Endor on it. Because I've seen like a Han Endor like on a Solo card, because the Solo ones were like yellow, and the Last Jedi were red and had like the red like salt, crate. I don't remember seeing like, does it say the Last Jedi on those? Like, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Power of the Jedi.
I guess not. No. Oh no. Yeah.
I think Ryan and I looked into that. And
here's some. I'm looking at
some
some carded figures.
The last movie was the only one that didn't have one.
Put one up on the screen there, Ryan. Because for some reason it's like escaping me.
How do I pull it up on the screen and share it?
Oh, can you just hold it on your on
my phone? Yeah, let me try that.
Or you can do a share screen. No big deal.
Yeah, here.
Mine's on a blank. I didn't know to do that.
But yeah, we got that stuff. But like Mandalore, we even got like a dedicated figure line for what was that really kind of poor card? The Resistance, Star Wars Resistance. Like dedicated. We got Forces of Destiny.
We did. Yep, it's true.
So what was your point then? I'm sorry, we got off point.
Like what? So it's the variety, like kind of like getting away from the variety, like just sticking with purely Black Series and not even putting out like new Black Series a lot of the time. It's like doing these archives, which I do enjoy the archive. Like I like the art cards and things like that. But it's not. Yeah, it's just one of the other things I think that kind of kills it it's just the same old same. Even though it's like a different figure, but it's just not like I miss finding ships or role play items or like here's like a cannon station or things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
What else did you got, Jeff? What were you saying?
And it's not just with Star Wars. It seems like it's across the board. Like Ryan had said, it's getting pretty generic. And then the paint applications to some of these figures is just horrendous. I know I picked up I think it was an Obi-Wan that Ryan was looking for one time, and I found it, and the guy was cross-eyed, one eye's going to the left, one's slightly off to the right, and the paint applications are just terrible. And I just threw it back. I was like, I wasn't going to bother. And then for the price that they're selling these figures at now, you think they would do a lot better job. I don't want a 5 POA and pay $25 for a 5 POA, right? I mean, what's the point?
Okay,
but
really quick.
Yeah,
really quick. No, I see that, but see, I don't see where it says Star Wars: The Last Jedi, like The Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. That's just what we call the red card. We know it's The Last Jedi because this figure of Leia was in The Last Jedi, and we know that paint with the red and white. And then, like I said, Solo was yellow and white. I don't remember seeing Star Wars.
So they had like the single carded ones, like the Force Link ones. Yeah, I remember they just kind of had those paint schemes, but they were putting out ships, figure packs. Like here's let me share my screen real quick.
Look at that, man. Sure.
Let me know. Let's see.
I'll see it pop up and then I can share it. Chris is really good at that.
I try.
There we go. Can you guys see that?
Oh, there it is. That one does say The Last Jedi.
And like they have
say The Last Jedi?
It does
right here. It does. Yeah.
So there was like ships, there was these multiple figure packs. There's definitely a push for, and the same thing with Solo. Like they didn't say like they kept saying paint schemes, but there was definitely still product at the store
It said Solo.
that said Solo. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Yeah.
The Rogue One ones were real clearly Rogue One. They were, because they had the Death Trooper on there.
Those
That
are
was
sweet cards.
But
Yeah,
again,
those
did
were
they
cool.
say Rogue One or was it just the Death Trooper?
They said Rogue One.
It's kind of like the like what is that litmus test or whatever when it's like was the Hershey's logo this way or the Hershey's logo that way? Like
Makes me want to run and go check.
There was some of each. There was some of each because I remember like with the Rogue Ones, like they reprinted or repacked like some Rebels figures and some other stuff. And so like if it was a character from Rogue One, I think it had it on the box. But like I just remember there being like a Sabine or something that was in the Rogue, or like a Thrawn that was in the Rogue One packaging.
Really? I don't remember that. I remember only Rogue One being in Rogue One.
No, because we have them because we've sold those figures, and that's what I mean. There's like different figures, like Kanan Jarrus from Rebels is on the Rogue One card.
That's just wrong.
I like the Princess Leia animated one was on a Rogue One card. Yeah.
I like Stephen Green's comment there. Did you see his comment there a second ago? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, like they did with the vintage Star Wars Empire and Return of the Jedi dedicated lines. That's all there was on there. But then they did eventually. You would find a Luke Tatooine on Return of the Jedi card,
if you
were or an Empire card. Yeah,
right. Repacks.
Repacks. There you go.
Let's see. Mike Lorenzo said the Rise of Skywalker had 11 figures released. 11.
That's it.
But were they like Black Series though?
Star Wars was 20.
Or like vintage collection. Like I didn't remember seeing any that were actually like Rise of Skywalker packaging.
Chris, go ahead and pull up Rise of Skywalker package figures and see if that shows up.
Let me dig and see what I can find here.
Jeff, what is your stance on the people that I'm going to grab the GI Joe and trade it for a Lando, and my Lando I'm going to trade for the Lego, and the Lego I'm going to buy the new Lego so I can trade it for the GI Joe. Is that an issue, or are you cool? Or
I'm cool with that. I don't mind it as long as they're, when you run across those figures that are hard to find that are all of a sudden going for $50 on eBay, and someone says, "Oh, I found this Chewbacca and he's $50 on eBay, so I want a $50 GI Joe," but it's still something that's supposed to be at retail. That's why I say if you're going to buy something that you find at retail, even though it's hard to find, trade it at retail. I don't like that when they try to mark up the price in via trade either.
Yeah, like I said, I have no issue with anybody doing anything. Like I said, getting up early and scouting the whole state for toys, and then Chris, here comes the quotes, right? Yeah, we talked about this with Dominic and Reese, and I'm like, if somebody wakes up in the morning at 5 a.m., hits every store in Colorado 10 times, buys everything off the shelves, and then sells it on eBay for 30 times that amount, I have no issue with that at all, because that's America.
I need to take a 60-second intermission real quick. Something just loud dropped upstairs. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys.
Okay. That's okay. So for me, like I said, if somebody wants to do that, somebody wants to put in the time and effort and out hustle everybody else and do that, I have no issue with that, because like I told Chris and Reese and Dom, they can do that, because for me, the early bird gets the worm, and they can have it, because worms are gross and mornings are stupid.
Yeah, I did that get up early chase game. Never again will I get up that early to go chasing toys.
I just
have a buddy of mine named Carlos that helps me out, and that's about it.
So here, Carlos, these are you pulled them up. So this is like the Rise of Skywalker card, right? That you're talking about.
I love that Zori. That Zori is killer.
The Zori is cool.
Toy of that. Zoom in on that, Chris.
Zoom in on it. Okay.
Zoom in.
I don't know if I'll be able to zoom in.
Are those 3 3/4, or are those 6-inch figures?
Those are 3 3/4.
Are they? Yeah. Okay. Well. I guess I was wrong.
Right?
Here,
sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, look, we all changed chairs. Not it.
But were those vintage collection?
Yeah, Chris is going to pull it back up again really quick.
Yeah.
I know there was the one toy I do remember with Rise of Skywalker was the I forget the planet, but where they were the jet troopers were on those bikes that like flipped them up. I remember there being one of those.
Yeah, Pisano.
Yeah.
See, that's Zori Bliss. That's awesome. I wish they would have made a hot toy of that.
I know.
And they didn't
get a hot toy pin.
They never made a hot toy of Poe.
Or Poe, I mean, yeah.
3 movies? Never got
3 movies, not one.
Nope. So you got that Jet Trooper hot toy though.
Yeah. And you got the Sith Trooper.
If I may say it, do you think that they didn't make very many toys for the last 2 movies because they made so much for episode 7 and retailers were stuck with what they had, that they had to majorly discount them, that they were like, you know what, we're not gonna go all out for these last 2 movies.
Constable Zuvio.
I tell you what, again, from my chair. Now I hear 2 things. I'm right in the middle. So I own my own business. I deal with this as a company, 30 years. I know Hasbro people that I deal with when I put in my orders, and I hear their take on stuff. And then I have like people like Jeff that are really knee deep into this stuff and talk to all the collectors out there. And I hear from both sides. You're not wrong, Jeff. And for all reasons, you could be right. Maybe that is what happened. But from the Hasbro stance, but then it's like, it's a Hasbro stance. Why would they tell me anything other than sales are perfect? Our numbers are clear. We're selling the right amount. We don't have any overstock and we're meeting our number. Like they'll never tell us we screwed up. We don't have enough product out there. And the product we do have, they don't want. They would never say that, right? So for me, again, it's like, I think it's the truth. The truth is somewhere in between there. I think the media blitz from The Force Awakens, because that thing did almost $1 billion in box office just in America, domestic dollars. And again, in my store, it was, you couldn't keep enough Star Wars in it. And again, before the movie dropped, it was all Kylo Ren and Captain Phasma. Everybody wanted Kylo and Captain Phasma. Once I saw the
Flame Troopers,
right? Well, right, but so those 2. But then when the movie came out, I got to see the movie at the press release about a week early. And me and Walter were talking about it, and the first thing I said was, I need to stock up on Rey and BB-8 because that's going to be the huge thing. And then that's what happened. So in my store, it swapped. Everyone wanted the Rey and BB-8s, and then the Kylos and Phasma really died off. Phasma died off quicker than anything, which really bums me out because I like Phasma. So I think it's right in between. Dude, I still sell Rey every single day. Rey sells every single day.
I remember after The Force Awakens, that one box that had Rey and her speeder.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that thing was like
huge.
I remember coming into the shop, Carlos's shop over here, and it was huge. That was everything in there. It was like Poe and the X-Wing were flying out there, Finn and the Stormtrooper outfit. It was all selling. And so that was selling. Rogue One didn't do as well in sales as well as Baze and Chirrut are awesome. And I love Baze and Chirrut, but they weren't selling anywhere near Rey or Kylo or, Han Solo and Chewie. It just wasn't happening. And then maybe that leads into the next movie, which was The Last Jedi, which is the great divider, I guess, and then maybe Jeff's right there. Where are you saying that? Because people, hold on. Sarah's saying we never got a Baze hot toy. We did not. True.
We did not.
It's a shame.
But again, I think, and I'll turn it over to you guys. But I think, Jeff, I think you're right. I think the answer lies within what Hasbro exec tells me, and I've known this guy for 8 years. I've been dealing with one rep, and what the streets tell me, So it's kind of like, again, I'm not there every day hunting toys off shelves, so I don't know what that's like. And then I just have the Hasbro guy saying, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. And everything I receive from those guys, I throw it out there and it's gone like that. It's gone. So I haven't seen a drop off if that was the whole point.
But like with the Rey and speeder bike, to me, like that was from The Force Awakens, like that was such a cool set. Like I understand why it flew off the shelf. Like it had good detail. It was a solid figure. So like, why can't we get, why don't we have a Black Series man, even if it's Black Series, right? Like, why don't we have a Black Series Mando on his, but like one of those swoop bikes?
You can get one on Hot Toys.
Fair.
Upgrade. Get the 6 scale Mando.
Is Hot Toys watching? Because Carlos, are you got stock in Hot Toys?
Yeah.
Right.
I love
Every
those
time he
things.
mentions Hot Toys, he gets a free one.
Yeah.
I just got a new
Oh.
guitar today, so now I got to get back to Hot Toys. Woohoo.
No, but it'd be interesting. Like, I don't know, Carlos, you should do like a web series, like a little mini series of like just for 3 months, like try to get back into toy hunting, like in the stores, and then
Oh
we
my
can have this
God.
conversation again.
And document it.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be funny. It's Carlos. I'm outside Target in off of Arapahoe. Let's go in and take a look.
I've seen it. I've seen some guys that do that actually.
I walked
I've
in
seen some guys.
empty-handed, and I walked out empty-handed.
I've seen some guys actually sneak into the back rooms.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm a Hasbro toy rep." Okay, they let him right. He walks right back there, and he just kind of
Well-
starts going through the shelves.
Well, and also let me tag on to that really quick. So, Jeff, you guys are all saying it's so awesome to go into the toy. It's the thrill of the hunt. I find Grandma Tarkin. Yay. I saw a video of a guy literally like, here's toy hunting in 2021. So he edited it really well. It's really funny. It's like a funny 60-second thing. And what happened was he went online. He picked out the new 50th anniversary Anakin Skywalker, the Legacy card or the Clone Wars card that's blown up, the Black Series. And he's like, oh, I want this one. So he downloads the SKU to his phone. He drives to the Target. He goes into Target, checks the shelf. It's not on the shelf. Flags down an employee, holds up his phone and says, can you check this SKU? And the lady goes, boop. Okay, yeah, they're in back. He goes, I'll take 2 of them. She goes in the back and comes out with 2, and he has them. I'm like, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but he got them. But
No,
I'm
that's what you have to do, though. I mean,
Is
I
that what
have
it is,
I have
Mark?
4 of them
Guilty.
right here behind me. I
Is
had
that
to
how
do
you
that
do
for I had to do that for all 4. Like none of the stores had like that I went to get my 4. I probably hit 8 targets multiple times, checking, and like I get lucky where they're like, hey, yeah, we have a case, but it's only this one. And none of mine I got off the shelf. Like they were all just sitting in the back. They weren't street dated,
Right.
anything like that. Like that's literally how I had to get those figures.
It's just
That's
wrong.
the state of hunting, man. Like it's not
Yeah.
fun. It's really not.
wow.
But there's
I
no
love
way to like pre-order these or like
Yeah.
anything because they were Target exclusives. They didn't put it up on their website for a little bit for pre-order. Like it was just, that these were coming sometime soon. And yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Well,
Wow.
it is what it is these days, right?
So really
That-
quick before we wrap up. So Jeff, Jeff has the magic wand. Jeff has the conch. How do you fix what would you do right now starting tomorrow? How does it work? How do you change the collecting? What would you do?
Man, I guess it starts with where they make the stuff. Call them and tell them, hey, you guys need to pay attention to what the fans want. Kind of like what NYC and Zion Art do. They listen to the fans. Hey, we want this character. We want these types of characters. And they make them. And Hasbro and other toy makers need to listen to the fans. Hey, we want this certain Power Ranger. Hey, we want this certain turtle. Like, hey, we want this certain Star Wars figure. If they're in the business to sell product, then you give the people what they want. I mean, that's like with you, Carlos, and Chris, and you also, Ryan. If you guys come to me and say, hey, Jeff, we don't want breakfast burritos, we just want bean burritos, I'm going to start making tons of bean burritos, okay?
Mhm.
Because that's what you want. So these toy manufacturers need to listen to the fans. I guess that's where it would start.
They don't even have to interview them, though, is the thing. Like they know the secondary market. They're watching the secondary market for these toys. You see it all the time with like when they do these like fan vote ones of like, hey, we're going to pull back a new figure into the archive series. We're going to, vote on the next vintage collection ones that we were going to pull back from an older one. And when you look at what they are, they're all ones that are like being sold really fast that don't last long on eBay, and they're going for high dollars. Like they know what's in demand. Like they pay, and actually like Wizards of the Coast is owned by Hasbro and Magic the Gathering. And they have this thing called Secret Lair where it's kind of their way of like reprinting like cards that are harder to get, that are more in demand. And they put them at like pretty high prices, to be honest with you, even though they're reprints. I'm a marketer for a career. That's one, like pay attention, especially with the product. like, to watch the secondary market. Like, that's where you see a lot of trends, what's in demand, what's clicking, what people are, they're active in Facebook groups. It's they don't even have to survey. They know what we want.
Wow. I didn't really think Hasbro would be even watching the secondary market.
Then
because
they're not paying attention.
Yeah,
They are.
Feels like they're not. Yeah.
What I need to do, let me read this from Stephen Green. After all, Hasbro is a business and they do it for the money. They did it all for the money. Ching, ching.
I would think so, but
what I think we would need to do is I would need to talk to my Hasbro guy and be like, can I do a voice disguise? And can I like put you all in the dark? And can you just honestly answer these questions?
Yes, I'll talk like this.
Oh, it's Doomcock, right? Like that guy.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like we need to do that, but I don't know. Like I said, unless we get a Toy Insider to really clarify this stuff, because I don't know. I think, again, is it better that there are no toys on the shelf, meaning they sold what they printed, if you will, or there's tons of peg warmers and they can't move the stuff, and so they don't know what to produce next.
I think the problem is even the packing. Like, when you see a case, I don't know if you see it when you get your cases, Carlos, but like the ones where I get to see them open them up, like in the store, they'll like, and no knock against these characters, because I think they're great characters, but like they may put 3 Landos in a box, but only 1 Rey, when they know like there's probably going to be a higher demand for Rey because of what's going on at the time. So like, why are you short packing the popular figures, but like overpacking the ones, again, those ones end up being the shelf warmers, because like
Constable Zuvio.
Exactly. Like it's yeah, Hot Toys is where it's at. Maybe that's a good transition to the next, like to talk about like that. Because that, to me, like collecting on that side has its own issues too. I mean, not issues as far as acquiring things, but but just like So I don't know. Like, I know, Jeff, you wanted.
You have 10. We have 10 minutes, so we have 10 minutes.
Okay.
So the floor is yours. Whatever you want to talk about, dude.
That's
so
good.
Jeff, I guess before I go on the Hot Toys rant, what do you want to do about the statue stuff that you were talking about earlier?
I just wish it seems like Hot Toys, Gentle Giant, and Sideshow just keep making the same figure over and over and over again. I'm like, how many Darth Vaders do we need? How many Lukes do we need? How many Leias do we need? Give me something different. I mean, that's why I was glad the Mando, I'm kind of over it, but it was something new. So it was something fun to get. And the child, there was something new, something fun. But like, I think those producers of the Sideshow Hot Toys, they missed out on some great characters from the Solo movies and Rogue One. I mean, think about all the great figures they could have made from Sideshow and Hot Toys.
It's a travesty we don't have a Mace Windu.
It would have been amazing.
Even some of the prequel, I mean, stuff before that too. Like, it's a travesty. Like, how come we have 2 Nick Fury Hot Toys, but no Mace Windu Hot Toy yet?
Right.
I'm fine without a Mace Windu Hot Toy. That's a prequel thing. I'd rather have more original trilogy stuff if I can choose.
Sure, but I mean, to me, Mace is still a. What's up, Chris?
I said, except for clones, you'll buy the clone troopers.
Well, sure, because it's like football teams. It's like, sweet, I got to get the
red one and a blue one and
the Steelers and the Raiders and the Patriots and the Broncos.
But that's what's kind of crazy to me, though. With like, I mean, in Mandalorians, and this is where I kind of want to talk about the trend. Like, prior to the Mandalorian coming out, they were going back and making more original trilogy Hot Toys, more prequel Hot Toys. They were kind of filling in some things, like, they had previewed a bunch of times at shows, like, here's the Padme, here's the Kit Fisto, here's a reissue of the Bespin Luke, we got the Qui-Gons, like the Commander Cody's. But like, it just seems like once we got these new content coming out of like Clone Wars season 7 and Mandalorian, it's like we're getting every single like character which is cool. I'm not against that, but where I worry is we're going to get hit, now that we're post-pandemic and things are filming, are we going to now just get into this cycle of the next, 2 to 3 to 5 years of all this new Star Wars content coming out? And that's all the Hot Toys, that's all the statues, that's all the high-end stuff we're going to get. And they're not really going to go back and revisit and fill in some of those like to me, like you have a Phantom Menace, Darth Maul, you have a Qui-Gon Jinn. Like having a Padawan Obi-Wan would be sweet, and maybe we'll get one with Obi-Wan coming out. I don't know, but it seems like they're cranking out tons of pre-orders, tons of cool stuff with Mando, Clone Wars season 7, but we're not. I just worry that there's not going to be a break in their content wise that's coming out that's going to allow them to go back and kind of fill in some of those. Like original trilogy characters would be great.
Oh yeah, you could keep coming out with original trilogy characters for years, and people would buy them.
Yeah,
I think.
Like
Sarah's comment here is really interesting, or question. It's a good question. I don't know. Anybody know this?
Go ahead and read it, Chris.
She asks, does any of it have to do with actors agreeing to sign over their likenesses, or is that a given whenever they sign for a movie?
It's a good question. I mean, like I thought about that with like Samuel L. Jackson for like Mace Windu, but then when I was looking, I was kind of just browsing at Marvel Hot Toys for the sake of it. I was like, oh, like there was like an Avengers Nick Fury and a Winter Soldier Nick Fury, so I'm like they can get Samuel L. Jackson.
Yep.
But maybe it's with the property. I don't know. Maybe it's okay for Star Wars, but not the other. I don't know. How do you guys feel about as hot toy collectors? Are you satisfied with like the variety, the focus that they're on? Is there other things you wish they do?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I wish they would come out with more original trilogy stuff just because, and here's why, because I love the old trilogy, the original trilogy stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of Mandalorian stuff coming out. A lot. And occasionally they'll do a pretty cool thing and then they'll come back to, Mando. But I think the aftermarket for hot toys, the secondary market or the third, fourth, fifth, tertiary, whatever it is market, it's pretty cool because, I mean, I've been able to pick up some of the older stuff, but because people are still selling it and trading and they want the new one, but I want the old one. That's the cool thing about hot toys is they retain their value and their tradability.
Oh, did we lose Jeff?
It's like camera went sideways for a second.
Uh-oh.
See if he joins back in. I guess let me text him real quick.
Section him.
Real quick, sorry. Yeah, what original trilogy characters would you like? I mean, like if you were like top 3, like, and I'm gonna ask this to both of you, like Chris, what's your top 3 original trilogy characters you want to make? And Carlos, what's your top 3?
Well, I'm not very good answer, I collect only. This is a thing I do. Carlos knows this. I only collect figures, helmeted figures. So Boba Fett's, Stormtroopers. But I would love like the Death Star Gunner. Like I know they have them in a sideshow or maybe some other 1/6 scale, but I don't think they have them as a hot toy. So I would love to have the Imperial Gunner or the TIE Pilot. That'd be great if they came out with another TIE Pilot. Yeah, we have a sideshow TIE Pilot, but I don't know about we don't have a hot toy. So things like that I really like. Even if they did, I mean, they've done well. Actually, they've been. Isn't it the which Stormtrooper is it? The one that's like, look, sir, droids. They've been saying they were going to come out with him on Hot Toys forever, and he just never did. So
the Sand Trooper?
Yeah, well, not the orange pauldron Sand Trooper. It's like the white one.
Oh, gotcha.
And he actually comes with the little round donut.
Gotcha.
Not donut, but How about you, Carlos? What would be your top 3 OTs if you could get them?
I would definitely do AT-AT Driver.
Oh yeah, totally.
AT-ST Commander. Now where I differentiate from Chris is because I collect all the helmeted and unhelmeted ones, because yes, the helmet ones are fantastic. They're beautiful to look at. But for me, it's also the sculpting of that's what sets Hot Toys far apart from Sideshow and the other guys is they're like this. They're like Tamora Morrison. It looks like Django. I remember in the store we had a Christopher Reeve Superman, and the customer literally said it from across the store. He's like, "Oh my God, that looks just like the guy in the movie." I was like, "Yeah, there you go." And so like the Ray looks dead on, It's just like, so again, the Iron Man, the Robert Downey Jr. likenesses are just insane. They're crazy. So for me, I like, especially if I can do like the Mud Trooper, my Mud Trooper, I have the Han Solo face showing, and then I have the top of the helmet. So I think of that as an ATST driver. So I would do those two. And then I would probably do, I would do like a droid, like the CZ4 droid, or I would do another Cantina alien. Like give me like a Hot Toy Hammerhead. Or a
Oh,
like
oh
Snaggle
yeah.
or
Oh,
something.
dude, if they would did Cantina figures, oh man.
Right.
Woo.
Speaking of doing the figures though, like what do you guys, the other thing I feel like too, and I don't know, I just never have had this many like Hot Toy pre-orders at one time. I feel like they're like cranking things out way faster than they're actually, and maybe some of that's the pandemic, but like, I don't know, do you guys feel like it's a little bit overwhelming as far as like the numbers of things coming out versus like what you're putting in pre-order versus like what you're actually like adding to your collection?
I try not to even look at my pre-orders because when it's like page 1 and then you click and it's page 2 and then you like, oh, I'm not even clicking to page 3, dude.
You got
And
like
then-
$1,000 in rewards, like pending.
Clearly. And then, well, especially from the Rancor. Ooh, you just reminded me, Ryan, those Rancor points should be dropping any day now. But what's the yellow stormtrooper? The artillery stormtrooper from Mando. I bought 2 of those because I got to have 2 of them side by side in different action poses. And I'm like, I have 2 of those. I have 2 of the 501st. I have 2 of the Ahsoka ones with the Ahsoka helmets. I want to display both of them with different helmets. And just like that, it's like another 15, 20, clone troopers, like Hot Toys. But again, it's like, you'll never miss on them. They'll never go down. You can't buy like the incinerator trooper, then it's going to be worth like $100 next year. It just won't happen. It'll maintain its value. In fact, it's going to go up in value. So it's a great investment. You get to display it. And even like, in Star Wars, what's great about Hot Toys is they're not like sealed, like you can just pop them open and go. And so you can display them as long as you take care of them and you put them back and you keep all the accessories and it's in relatively clean shape. You can still get like full dollar for some of this stuff. And so it's a great investment. Once I open up, like I slice open the bubble or I slice open the tape, the value goes down because now it's used, it's not new. But Hot Toys, they got it on all corners, and then it's an import toy. So these come from Hong Kong. Like they're an import toy. You can't get them unless they come in from out of the country, and they're just spot on. They're high end designer toys. Everything about them is just fantastic.
They're high end designer toys from Hong Kong, Carlos.
Yeah, there you go. Steven says, I only have 2 Hot Toys. I picked them up from some guy named Carlos. Awesome. And I got
Which ones do you have, Steven? Yeah, Carlos got me addicted. It's bad.
And me and Ryan go back and forth too. We're like trying to trade and buy off each other's Hot Toys.
See, like Lorenzo, Gamorrean Guard would be so cool. So cool.
Yeah, think of all the Jabba the Hutt denizens of Jabba's palace.
But that's what makes me sad. Like I don't see him going back. Maybe you guys do, but I don't see him going back anytime soon.
They will. I guarantee it because again, I have a Hot Toy connection not collector, but insider rep, if you will, through Sideshow. And yeah, it's endless. It will never end.
But I mean, but as long as we're getting new Star Wars content too, though. I mean, well, because they have like if you go to like the coming soon section on their page, like it just doesn't. There's stuff that's been up there for like years, and then when you look at like, okay, this one I just pre-ordered it, and you're like, okay, when does this come out? Oh, a whole nother year and a half. Like, I mean, that's the disappointing part.
I agree. I wish they were able to put them out quicker. Although I like the way they do it, the way Hot Toys sells them through Sideshow, but you can pre-order it. You're going to get it, and I like that. But I do hate having to wait a stinking year. How long, Carlos? How long did I wait for my Mud Trooper?
2 years. Me and you both. 2.5 years for a Mud Trooper. But here's the thing, and again, like I said, I offered the layaway on our show because it's just like it's easier to break up $250, $50 a month or something. It's just easier to maintain, and so Sideshow also offers that you can do monthly payments with those guys, and then before you know it, now it has sucked because for probably the past 4 or 5 years, Sideshow's been taking at least $50 a month for me forever, like for the last 5-10 years, because it's just there's something pre-ordered. But then what's cool is all of a sudden Boba Fett shows up, or Royal Guard shows up, or the new Heavy Mando showed up. I was like, oh my god, I got my Heavy Mando. Then Ryan got his like the next day. So that's always for me. That is what makes collecting fun for me. It isn't that I can get the last Mando and no one else can get it. And I got it off the shelf, or here's the barcode. It's just, I saw it on the website. I know their quality. I love an import toy to begin with. I don't know what it is about an import, but it's just cool. And like Chris said, you're guaranteed to get it. So you will get one and you will get a brand new one, and then it retains its value. It looks great. It's fully posable. It comes with a thousand accessories. It's just, you can't lose on Hot Toys. You just can't. Stephen Green says, I have a Hot Toy Ahsoka on pre-order. This year. See, and the first payment is until August. So they kind of do what I do, Steve, Green Leader. They take like 10% down because they got to figure out how many of these suckers to make. And then what's also great about Hot Toys, I don't know if we've touched on it, is they pretty much destroy the molds, where they won't release the same one next year. They won't do a repack, if you will. Now they will do what's called a reissue. And a reissue comes with a different number and a different something, a different box. Something is different. So you don't have to worry about that. So if they ever release a Heavy Mando 5 years from now, it's not going to be the same one as the one that we have now. So it's really cool. They did that with the Death Trooper, because the first Death Trooper was from Rogue One. That sucker's now $600-700, but they re-released a Death Trooper from the Mando series, which is more weathered and sand in the creases. And I got that one, which looks fantastic. And that was at normal cost, like $200. So it's a win. I haven't missed on Hot Toys in 10 years since I've been collecting them. I love my collection. I look at them every day. Like before I turn off the lights in my showroom, I'm just like, ooh, look, ooh. It's just,
I'm a big fan of the animated Star Wars stuff, like Rebels and Clone Wars, and and like when they announced the Clone Wars like season 7 Hot Toys, it just gave me so much hope that like eventually, hopefully, those are some other ones. Like go back and revisit past seasons of Clone Wars, like get a Cad Bane Hot Toy. But ultimate to me is like I want to get the Rebels, like this, like get the Kanan, a Sabine, like get the whole crew of the Ghost would just be.
You're gonna get the Bad Batch?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Got to get the Bad Batch. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. The Bad Batch, just these last couple. Not to derail, but like the Bad Batch just isn't.
Ooh, it's on tonight. It's on tonight.
It's. They need to pick it up because too much filler. It's like too much. I feel like I'm watching the same episode over and over again.
Ship breaks down at the beginning. They repair it. They take off at the last. Yep. It's the Lone Wolf Cup Mando thing. Chris, what about you?
Yeah. So Ryan, I want to ask you about this. So, Hot Toys, like you just mentioned, announced that they're doing a bunch of the Clone Wars characters, Anakin, Obi-Wan, but they're doing them in a live action look. So they look like live action. Does that make sense? And so Carlos, I'm going to share screen again.
Oh, I hope I know what you're going to share, because I think I know where you're going.
Let's see, but I dig it. You want me to share it now?
No, hang on a sec. Let me pop it over there. Sorry, I'm kind of got a little delayed. So they've done this. Hot Toys is doing them, and then so is Sideshow. But they're doing them different, right? And so your Hot Toy one is just, I'm having technical issues and it's just wanting to be slow. But when it comes up, there you go. So there's your Anakin, right? So this is the Anakin that Hot Toys is doing, right? So you can just kind of see the image there. It looks awesome, right? I mean, he really does look great.
Yes.
Okay, and I love the way they advertise. Like, check this out, man. Some of the stuff.
Check out
the photography is great. The detail. Now, I've never seen. Whoa, that's a little zoomed in, but look at him. He looks great, does he not, man?
Yeah.
So and then yeah, totally. But I even more dig. I love the one that Sideshow's coming out with, which I normally will say Hot Toys is better than Sideshow every time.
It is.
But
because they did that, Hot Toys hasn't done that one yet.
I like this version of the Sideshow. It's the same Anakin Skywalker, but it's the animated look versus the live action look. I prefer the animation look for my like animated ones. Yeah, look how cool he looks, man. He looks amazing.
Go down to his waist and his boots, because I love the tapered look. I love how he's not bulky, and it looks like look at that. It looks like a large action figure and highly built.
And you know what? Hot Toys can do it. Like, have you seen the Into the Spider-Verse Hot Toys?
Yes.
Like those are animated faces. Like I would for sure, like I would love Clone Wars to be the animated style Hot Toy. Same with Rebels. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's cool. But to me, like, let's say Kanan, for example, he's probably like one of the most I guess like familiar faced like voice actors from the animated stuff. Like
Right.
it would look weird having like Freddie Prinze Jr. as my Kanan. You know what I mean? Like it just. So I guess I don't know if they do it that way, but yeah, Chris, what do you think? Like, what would you prefer?
Animated. I love this animated look
I love
because
both.
that's how the show looks. That's how they, he really looks like that. When you watch the cartoon or the show, and then they're also doing an Obi-Wan, which I'm just gonna quick pull it up. There you go.
Love that pose. Look
Just
at that.
The
another
Obi-Wan
just
kind of
so
gives
cool.
me a Team America World Police vibe, though. I don't know what about it, but
Durka.
it does. Unfortunately for that one, it's
When he's all, oh, don't ruin it for me, Ryan. Wait,
I'm
let me
sorry.
share.
You can't unsee it now.
I'm gonna cancel my Obi.
But could you imagine if they did like an Ahsoka like that? Like even like Plo Koon, Count Dooku. I mean, it would.
That's awesome.
I hope they do. I hope it's successful and like ideally, I'd want it from Hot Toys. But I don't know. I'm gonna. These to me are like must-have pre-orders, just because I love Clone Wars.
Chris, do me a favor since you have the share screen. Go to just what's new, and then we'll wrap up. Go to the what's tab.
The what's
Go to sideshow. Go to sideshow.com and then go to the main tab, and click on the what's new tab.
The what's
It's
new
Green
tab.
has it. America. Yeah, you need a montage. You know when you go to search for the new stuff. Doobie.
Okay, new. What's new?
It's new.
What's
Click on the
new? Where do I find what's new?
Scroll down. It's under now shipping. Yep.
View all what's new. View all what's new.
Right there.
Right above Batman's head.
Yeah, I clicked it. It's coming. Man, it's like YouTube live streaming takes up my whole bandwidth. Wow, look at that. Hulk versus Hulkbuster.
Yep. Mad Cats. Love the Mad Cats. Scroll down. We don't care about the BTS. Keep scrolling down. There you go. Right there. That Mando with swoop bike and Baby Yoda in the back. That. Stephen Gray, do you even sideshow, bro? Oh, burn. Lorenzo beat me too.
Sorry.
Go, do you even sideshow?
Sorry, guys.
Well,
there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure.
Oh, we love you, Chris. We love you. Anyway, again, that's just fantastic stuff there.
What do you think about the vehicles? Because that was one of the other ones they previewed at a San Diego, I think in 2019, was they were going to start doing ships, and they previewed Anakin's Starfighter.
That's been dropped for like 2 San Diego Comic Cons because I used to go to those every year too. And I would see again, I would talk to the reps out there, and I just don't even see that one making it because I would probably buy that just because of the size and scale because that thing's huge.
Well, but was it? I mean, I didn't get a chance to see it in person. Like, is it big enough to like literally stick a 1/6 scale figure in?
It's a 1/6 scale figure. So you would put him in that whole cockpit. So that wingspan is huge. I mean, like it's literally would fit up your whole desk. So yeah, it would be beautiful, and I would bet that thing would probably retail for about $29.99, probably like $29.99, basically $3,000.
Okay. I was like $300. Sign me up.
No, because I think the swoop bike one is going to be probably what $400 or $500 because Mando's $250. Throw in the child, that's $50. That's $300, and the vehicle is probably $150 to $200. I'm gonna guess $450, $500 retail on that swoop. But I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get that one. Yeah.
What about you, Chris? It's helmeted.
Nah.
It's limited. No.
I'm just not into the ships. They're just too big and too expensive for what I'm getting. Plus, space is an issue. If I had a large showroom the size of this guy's, beside this guy, I would be into that guy. Maybe I would do it, but I just don't have the space. And so it's like I hate collecting stuff and putting it in boxes. You know what I mean? I'd rather really be able to display it.
Correct. Ryan, really quick, what else did you want to cover as we wrap this up?
I mean, really, it was it. Like that was kind of the main thing on the high end stuff was just, do you feel satisfied? Like it seems like they're not. And like not having things complete, like not having a Baze figure, not having your like episode 1 Anakin, or not Anakin, but Obi-Wan,
Mace.
The fact we don't have like a Padme in some form.
Are you saying
Even like
Padme?
OTC stuff.
Am I
Like
saying it wrong? Sorry, is it Padme? Is it you got 3 syllables there? Or am I saying it wrong?
I just always say Padme.
Oh,
Padme.
okay. I thought I heard Padme, and I was like, "Oh my god, have I been saying Padme this whole time wrong?"
Yeah,
or even
Carlos.
like
No,
the
we
fact
always
have
say Padme. What are you talking about, Carlos?
Oops. Go ahead,
like
Ryan.
we have a Force Awakens TIE pilot, but not a original trilogy TIE pilot. Stuff like that, where it seems like there's like some easy low hanging fruit.
Yeah, but something tells me also that between the Star Wars license and the Marvel license, because there's like 5,000 Ironmans, and I kind of got out of that game finally because I had like 8 of them, and I was like, I can't get every Iron Man. And then the Iron Man went to diecast, and the diecast are now like $450 a pop.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, that's like a guitar. And but I think they're never going to run out of Star Wars stuff or Marvel, and I think it's either a combination of the low hanging fruit, or it's just going to. Man, they're going as quickly as they can because they have hundreds and hundreds of these, and they're a year out. And so, like, again, no less than 14 sculptors per figure. So it's going to take a while. And then the new Star Wars movie comes out, the new Thor Love and Thunder is coming out. That just wrapped. Taika Waititi is now going on to Star Wars, the new Star Wars movie. So there's that. Then there's a new Rogue Squadron movie. So there's that. And then there's the classic characters like the TIE pilot. So I bet you they're just pulling their hair out over there in Hong Kong.
Well, that's why I almost wonder like why they wouldn't streamline a little bit more. Like, as far like it's great to, again, going back to the Mandalorian stuff, like it's cool to get all these Mandalorian figures or some of the Clone Wars season 7, but like, would you rather have? I guess like, would you rather have like all these different Mandalorian figures coming out as hot toys, or would you rather have like 3 or 4 from the like each season of Mando, and then like in this time period, like, because they could always go back and create those other Mandalorian figures after the fact, like they do for OTC, but like mix it up a little bit. Like you don't have to do like all Mandalorian all at once, like do a good healthy chunk of it, but then also sprinkle in, 1 or 2, or maybe, 2 or 3 different figures from previous lines, a year, or previous shows or movies.
I understand. I think the last statement I'll make as we end is, you think they're going to make it Omega?
Well, I hope not.
You mean Omega?
You think they'll make an Omega, Chris?
Never.
Chris loves Omega.
I call her Little Orphan Annie.
I got no problem with Omega, but I don't like Omega.
Chris loves Omega like Dom loves The Last Jedi. And I just want to say...
Where in the world did Jeff go?
I don't know.
Hello. Thanks for watching. This was Star Wars from a certain point of view with Carlos and Chris. Special guests Ryan and JFed. We talked about the state of collecting. We barely touched on the subject because there's so much stuff to talk about. Yeah. But that was over an hour, guys. So thank you so much for joining us, Ryan and Jeff. And we'll get back together. And stay tuned because we drop episodes of this. We go live every Thursday at 8:00 p.m. Mountain Time, and make sure you hit subscribe and turn on your notifications so you do not miss a single episode. Happy collecting out there, and oh man, I feel for you guys that are just going to the stores every day and going for those shelves. That gives me stress. Thanks, guys. Anything else, guys? Chris, Ryan, what do you got?
That's it. Thanks for having me again, guys. Hopefully sometime soon I'll be back, talk some more collecting and other stuff, vintage, everything. See you guys.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Bye.